Good morning, everyone. Mr. Pippin here. I was just working on a few things and decided to take a short break to do some reading, and I thought, why not read out loud to the students? It's one of my favorite things to do at the school, so I'm going to be reading to you today from Tripping Over the Lunch Lady. This is a collection of short stories about school. I had a student named Taylor a couple years ago who read this book. I picked it up for her from my library, and she would crack up anytime she read it during class. So I always wanted to read it, and now I'm going to be reading it with you. I would love if other students or teachers or parents could make videos of themselves reading, and we can kind of stay connected a little bit. All right. Focuses on the reading. So, Tripping Over the Lunch Lady. This first story is by Angela Johnson. Sorry, a lot of pages there. Tripping Over the Lunch Lady. I'm never going to be a gymnast. You know how people say that some folks can't walk and chew gum at the same time? Oh yeah, they were talking about me. I fall downstairs and roll out of bed onto the floor. I drop things on my toes and get trapped in closets. I've broken my arm making cookies. Don't ask. I even got locked in my own locker once. I wanted to see what it was like inside and had to stay there till the end of school for the janitor to let me out. Do you know how embarrassing it is to be caught in a locker? Just ask me. I'm especially not good with my feet off the ground. I was telling Mr. DeMeister just that. About the time I went flying off the trampoline over Tony Friedman's head yesterday and scared him so bad, he wasn't spotting for me, but was talking to Gus Jackson about what they were going to do after school, that he choked on some gum he wasn't supposed to have in his mouth. Right around the time he was having the Heimlich done on him, and Gus was screaming to apply direct pressure. Luckily, we just had a first aid class the period before gym. I realize that what everybody calls me is probably true. Jinx. That's how everyone refers to me. My own parents even. Mom thinks it's cute. My Uncle Jeff began calling me Jinx when I started crawling backward as a baby and getting stuck in boxes, under tables, and even, the story goes, a pair of my dad's boots. Dad pats me on the head like an old skunky stray and says Uncle Jeff was just like me. Yeah, right. Uncle Jeff drives a Porsche and lives in a cabin in the woods with a hot tub. I'm too uncoordinated to ever drive a car, and I'm pretty sure a hot tub is just a bad accident waiting to happen. I love Uncle Jeff anyway, though. I guess he might have been a jinx back in the day, but hey, he must have grown out of it, which doesn't necessarily mean I will. I'm never going to be able to keep my feet together and fly perfectly on the trampoline. I'm never going to be able to make a basket without breaking somebody's bones. The doctors did do a good job on Mr. DeMeister's nose, though. I'm never going to run like my sister or kick a soccer ball like my brother without falling, throwing up, or pulling a muscle on me or somebody else. My dad won't even let me use a steak knife. I still have to cut my meat with one of those plastic picnic things that sort of look like a knife. But a while ago, everything changed. My whole life even, because of something I saw on the Folk Arts channel. A couple days after that, a picture in an album made it feel exactly right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people I've run over, stepped on, and tripped up, I am going to be a square dance star. The dancers on television floated over the floor, arm in arm. They smiled, laughed, and nobody fell into anybody else or sprained anything. They were all so happy and even seemed to really like each other. And then I saw this woman who looked just like my mom. She could have been my mom. She looked so much like her. Then in the middle of a swing around, she looked the camera in the eye and smiled at me. Honest. It was as if she looked right at me to say, you could be me. And look, I can do this. Wow. It was a couple of days later when a picture fell out of a photo album I just dropped in the fish tank. I rescued everything pretty quick, except now our goldfish hide when I come close to the tank. But there it is, in living color, was a picture of my mom, arm in arm, with this kid with hair way down his back, square dancing. It was in my genes. I knew then it was meant to be. And not only am I going to be a star, I'm going to be the 5th grade school gym square dance champ of the whole world. And nobody's going to stop me. Ouch! It's a hard thing to change people's mind about how things are done and to get them to do something new. This is how it went with Mr. DeMeister when I went to his office and told him what might be the most wonderful thing since knee pads and bandages. What he said, sort of backing away from me like he always does. Let me try that again. What? He said, sort of backing away from me like he always does. Square dancing, Mr. DeMeister. Square dancing. It's fun, and it's good exercise for everybody. I saw it on the Folk Arts channel and practiced with a huge stuffed teddy bear. What? It was real cool, the way the guys swung the girls and everybody skipped and twirled around the room. I think it would be good for us all to learn a new skill. Learn to dance with partners, because usually the boys don't want to. And get a good workout. What? We wouldn't have to wear the frilly dresses or bow ties like they did on TV. I think our regular gym clothes would be okay. Do you think they have square dance music in the band room? What? I think a few more meetings with Mr. DeMeister will get him to come around to the square dance way. So later that day, I dropped off some square dance music at his office. He wasn't there, and I accidentally dropped a 10-pound weight. Excuse me. I accidentally dropped a 10-pound weight I was moving off his desk onto a fishing pole that fell on the floor. There was a stuffed fish over his desk. Scary. I thought we'd be dancing by now, but days after my meeting with Mr. DeMeister, we're still on the trampoline that decided a long time ago it didn't like me. Evil is what it is. Evil. And it won't even take pity on my poor classmates, who have to keep catching me and throwing me back on it. Mr. DeMeister keeps yelling, "Spot Jinx! Spot Jinx!" I'm feeling like a clumsy Dalmatian with all the spot jinx going on. And I'm thinking how happy I'd be if my 2 feet were safely planted on the wooden floor, promenading down the court. Square dancing would save me. I'd be the world's best square dancer. Maybe I could even stop wars and hunger with square dancing. I'd go to other countries and dance with my square dance group that would not include any of the people who back away when I use a fork in the lunchroom, or have their arms stretched out to catch me when I'm going down the stairs to art class. Maybe I'd get some award for ending unhappiness in the world by spreading square dance love all over the planet. Maybe I'd change the whole wide spot jinx. And maybe I'll do that after I come back from the nurse's office.